Good morning. Welcome to Creative Living Fellowship online Sunday service meditation. My name is Jeannie Sovereigns, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at CLF. And this morning, I'm going to invite you to go deeper into your soul's calling. Are you ready? Let's just take a few deep breaths and close our eyes. And with each breath in, feel it come down deeply within inside us, knowing that the one presence, the unity of the all, is here as it always is inside us. And as we breathe, we know that the divine is guiding and guarding us. Our thoughts can come and go. There is no need to chase them. I invite you now to rest in the silence. Hmm. Now I invite you to come back into this room, into your seat. Stretch. Hmm. Open your eyes when you're ready. Feel the presence and know that you are so loved. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in a few minutes at the start of service at 10 a.m. Namaste.
Um, and welcome to the Creative Living Fellowship online Sunday service. Please join us in our opening song, God is Enough.
God is enough. God is enough for me. God is enough for me. God is enough. God is enough for me. God is enough for me. You have got to stand, even if you don't feel it, even when you can't see it. You have got to stand. Sometimes you might tumble down the mountain of your dreams, but you must just get on up and stand. Say, God is enough for me. Oh, God is enough. God is enough for me. In the morning, in the evening, every day I say, God is enough for me. You have got to stand when you're feeling hopeless and vision has been tossed upon a stormy sea. Move out to the spirit, let the song sing through you. Joy is there in your soul. Get on up and stand. And say, God is enough for me. God is enough. God is enough for me. Oh, God is enough for me. God is enough. In the morning, in the evening, God is enough for me. I found a note in a bottle floating on the sea of life with a message in it saying it could end all my strife. If you're looking for heaven and want to be homeward bound, look within you, that's where the kingdom of God can be found. God is enough. God is enough. God is enough. Found a note in a bottle floating on the sea of life with a message in it saying it could end all my strife. If you're looking for heaven and wanna be
God is enough. Good morning. My name is Jeannie Sovereigns, and I'm a licensed practitioner here at CLF. And I am delighted to serve as the Sunday service host today. Whether you are joining us on Zoom, Facebook Live, or YouTube, it is my pleasure to welcome you here. Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths that lead to truth. Our deep intention here is to be a community of love and care and connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and the practices of the science of mind and spirit. The science of mind is a new thought, ancient wisdom teaching that provides us with the tools for living our best possible lives. We believe that there is one power, one presence, one life in the universe that is everywhere present, and that we are all part of that one right now. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that no one need prepare to meet God. We are meeting him every day. In each hour of the day, we meet him in the rising sun, in the flowing stream, in the budding rose, in the joy of friendship and love, and in the silence of our own soul. One of the practices that takes us into the silence of our own soul is holding high watch. The practice of sitting in a meditative state, holding a space for the perfect unfoldment. Practitioner Rhonda Emmerich is holding the high watch for us this morning for the perfect unfoldment of this service. Thank you, Rhonda, for your service. Our musical inspiration today is Charity Lockhart. Practitioner Monica Zickis will bring us our opening prayer, and then that will be followed by a centering moment. And then Monica will be back with the inspirational reading of the day. Now here's Monica with our opening prayer.
Good morning, everyone. I invite you to close your eyes and turn within. And knowing and remembering there is only the one power, the one source, the one force that we choose to call God. Infinite, omni God, perfect, whole, complete God qualities like love. God is love, God is joy, God is beauty, God is hope, God is all things good. And as God is all these things and so much more, so am I, and so is everyone. So we are all part of this one. Always have been, always will be. And as I speak my word into the law, knowing it is done for the best and highest good, I know and affirm that these God qualities are growing, expanding, creating, all of these qualities and so much more, deeper and deeper every day. And I'm so grateful for the immediate manifestation of this prayer and release my word into the law, which only says yes. And so it is.
Well.
Today's reading comes from 365 Science of Mind, A Year of Daily Wisdom from Ernest Holmes, July 1st. I am free with the freedom of God. We all wish to be free, but at the same time, we should realize that liberty is not license. To say that we are free with the freedom of God does not mean that we are free to do which contradicts the divine nature. We are free only in that freedom that God is, the freedom to be alive, to enjoy living, to enter into the activities of everyday living with an enthusiasm and interest. We are free to love and be loved. We are free to give full and complete expression to every capacity we possess, provided this freedom harms no one and hurts no thing. This is freedom enough, because if we were free to do that which is destructive, we should ultimately destroy ourselves. And in doing so, we would not only deny, but would defame the nature of divinity itself. Therefore, we always pray, thy will be done. But within this will, we know that there is scope enough for self-expression, plenty of room to move around and to express life to its fullest. I am free with the freedom of God. Today, I manifest this freedom in joy. I enter into this freedom with complete abandonment, with the feeling that all things are working out well, and with the deep and sincere desire to live so that my freedom shall be imparted to others, that we all may feel that we are in partnership with the infinite.
There's an old friend that I once heard say something that touched my heart, and it began this way. I was born by the river in a little tent, and just like that river, I've been running ever since. He said it's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh yeah. He said it's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I might not be if I knew it was up there beyond the sky. He said it's been a long, long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I went to my brother. I asked him, brother, could you help me, please? He said, good sister, I like to, but I'm not able. When I looked around, I was right back down on my bended knees. Yes, I was. Yeah. Every time I thought I wouldn't last for long. Somehow right now, I'm able to carry on. He said it's been a long, long time coming, but I know change has got to come. Oh yes, it will. Sometimes I had to cry all night long, yes it is. And sometimes I had to give up right for what I knew was wrong. It's been an
Thank you so much, favorite friend, Charity Lockhart. Welcome back. It's so good to have Charity back. Thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. Let's take a breath together. Charity will be back with us later on in the service. Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to our service this morning. We take a breath as we continue on our theme of New Day Dawning, as we continue to decide how we're going to experience this new day dawning, this amazing new day that is dawning for each of us throughout this world, new day dawning. And we are deciding how we're going to experience it. We have the freedom to decide how we're going to experience it. Because our overarching theme this month is freedom. We'll be talking more about freedom today. My topic today is freedom to be, the freedom to be. And you know, the question always comes up, the freedom to be what? Well, what is it that you want to be? How is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to do? How is it that you want to do? So the question always, as I said, is what is it that you want? We have the freedom to choose. And I always say that the greatest gift that God gave us was the freedom to choose. The freedom to choose, because we can make choices and then we can make other choices, and then we have the freedom to change our minds and make other choices. And we have the freedom to do this, and we have to be willing to change. As Charity was singing about, a change is going to come. A change has to come if we're going to be experiencing freedom. Otherwise, we'd stay right where we are, doing the same things we've been doing, or doing the things we've always done, the things that would hold us back, or the things that would keep us stuck in a particular place. So we have to be willing to change. We have to be willing to choose change. And we can also be willing to choose not to change. We can be willing to choose to remain the same, to let things be just the way they've always been. That's where freedom is all about. That's where our freedom comes in. The freedom to make those decisions for ourselves. You know, God is not going to interfere with our freedom. Ernest Holmes says that the seed of freedom was planted in the innermost part of man, but man must discover it for himself, must make this great discovery of freedom for himself. And so, of course, using archaic language, man, meaning all of us, must make this great discovery that freedom is within us. We can't look to the external for freedom. Our freedom is within us. That seed of freedom is buried deep within each one of us, and it's up to us to uncover that seed of freedom, uncover that nugget that is within us, that allows us to live our very best lives. Freedom means that we are free to be the author of our own lives. We're free to be the author of our own lives. How awesome is that? We're free to be the author of our own lives. God does not interfere. God does not interfere with the choices that we make. God does not interfere with the decisions that we make. What happens is the law is always operating. So decisions that we make are always balanced off and are always confronted by the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect is always in operation. So we can make whatever decisions we want. We can make whatever choices we want. And we have to be willing to accept and to be willing to deal with the consequences of our actions, the consequences of our choices, the consequences of our decisions. So that's a balancing act that we have to be willing to look at. Yes, we have the freedom to live the way we want. Yes, we have the freedom to do the things that we want. Yes, we have the freedom to make the decisions that we want. And all that's well and good so long as it does not interfere with the common good, so long as it doesn't interfere with the rights of others, so long as it doesn't interfere with the lives of others, so long as I'm not exercising my freedom all over you, and you're not exercising your freedom all over me. And that's what we find in our world today. So many people are deciding to exercise their freedom over others. And that doesn't work. That's when we get into chaos. That's when we get into confusion. That's when we get into divisiveness. That's when we get into separation. And so what we have to do is to decide that we are going to turn inward, go to that innermost part of ourselves when we decide to exercise that freedom that is already within us and exercise it in a way that does not interfere with the common good. And so that's what I'm inviting us to today. We're going to be really looking at how are we exercising freedom? How are we experiencing freedom in our lives? How are we going to choose to experience freedom in our lives? And that's I have a lot of questions for you today. But right now, let's just look a little bit more at freedom. There are three kinds of freedom. The freedom from something is what we think of oftentimes. The freedom from something, the freedom from fear, the freedom from anxiety, the freedom from pain, the freedom from relationships, the freedom from certain people, the freedom from a particular job, or whatever the situation is, the freedom from something that we don't want in our lives is what we often think of. The freedom from something that we don't want is sort of like bondage. It's something that is holding us in bondage. When we feel like there's something that we need to be free from something, then that's something that's holding us in bondage. So what is it that we want to be free from? What is it that we want to be free from? What is it that we want? Oftentimes it's well, all the time, really, it's in the past. Something that's in the past. Being free from the past is something that really elevates us to that place where we are free to move forward, when we are free to let go of the past, when we are free to not do things the way we've always done, and when we are free to look forward rather than constantly looking back. Then when we are exercising that choice, exercising our choice, our freedom of choice to move forward, to look forward, then we are free to really live the lives that we were created to live the lives that we want. When we are free to let go of the past, let go of the way things used to be, and really look forward to, how do I want to move forward in my life? How do I want to do things differently in my life? How do I want my life to expand? How am I willing to change? These are the kinds of questions that we have to ask ourselves. I was looking at a story of former Arizona Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, and she was talking. There's a documentary that's being created about her, and just the tremendous recovery that she's been experiencing over the last few years since she was injured in that shooting in Tucson years ago. It's been a long journey for her. It's been a difficult journey for her, but she never complains. She's always moving forward, always looking up, always positive, always striving, always trying to move forward and do the very best that she can do. And everyone around her talks about how wonderful it is to be around her. Her spirit is so great. She is such an inspiration to so many people. And she says that one of the things that she has determined from the very beginning was that she would not look back, that she would always look forward, because the only way she can move forward in her life is to look forward, that she cannot move forward looking back. And so, even though we know that just to hear that coming from her and recognizing what a difficult uphill battle this has been for her, uphill journey this has been for her. I don't like the word battle. Uphill journey this has been for her. Then it makes us realize that, looking back really doesn't serve us, because we can't move forward looking back. And so we're free to let go of the past. We are free to move forward. We are free to do something different. We're free to change. We're free to change. We're free to change. And one thing we can always change, and the first thing we have to change, is change our minds. We have to change our minds, change our way of thinking. Change your thinking, change your life. I wonder where we've heard that before. Change your thinking, change your life. And when we change our thinking about a situation, and I was thinking about Congresswoman Giffords, change your thinking. She changed her thinking about that situation. She changed the way she thought about it. And therefore she was able to change her life. She could have just stayed back thinking about how her life used to be, or thinking about being in a situation of being in a place of, oh, woe is me, or how terrible this has been and whatever. But she has moved forward from day one. She has moved forward. She's been determined to continue to move forward and be an inspiration for everyone around her. And just last week, she received the Medal of Freedom. The president awarded her the Medal of Freedom. And it was just wonderful to see. He says that she's one of the most courageous people he's ever met. And so that's just the exercising that freedom in her life to move forward from the past is what I'm encouraging us all to do. is to be willing to move forward. And I'm asking you, what is it that you want to be free from? What is it that you want to be free from? What is it that you want to be free from? From what do you want to be free? So making that decision, from what do you want to be free? And then how will you go about being free from that? How will you go about being free from the things you want to be free of? That means you got to change. That means you got to let something go. That means you got to do something different. That means you got to move into the unknown. And sometimes, that's not comfortable. Well, most of the times that's not comfortable to move into the unknown. And we're doing that every day. In addition to the freedom from something, the next thing is the freedom to. The freedom to. The freedom to be loving, the freedom to be kind, the freedom to forgive, the freedom to be compassionate, the freedom to move where you want to move, the freedom to take another job, the freedom to do whatever it is that you want to do. We have the freedom to do things also. We have the freedom to choose. We have the freedom to change our lives. We have the freedom to step out in a different kind of way. We have the freedom to do those things, and we have the freedom not to. That's the beauty of it. We have the freedom to change, and we have the freedom not to change. We have the freedom to move forward, and we have the freedom to stay in the past. That's where the freedom to comes in. How are you exercising the freedom to in your own life? We have the freedom to walk in the direction of our prayer work. Walk in the direction of our prayer work. If we want things to change, if we've been praying for something, you got to walk in the direction of what you've been praying for. We have the freedom to do that. And we have the freedom not to. We have the freedom to pray for one thing and do something different. It's our choice. It's our choice. This is what I mean when I say one of the greatest gift God gave us other than life was the freedom to choose without God interfering with our choice. We can choose to do it however we want to do it. And it doesn't matter how long we do and we make these choices and see that what we're doing is not working. We have the freedom to keep doing the same thing over and over and staying in that rut. And we have the freedom to get out of the rut. We have the freedom to get out of the rut. I just had a flash of Robert Schuller, who used to say, it takes guts to leave the ruts. It takes guts to leave the ruts. It takes guts to leave the ruts. Before I discovered Science of Mind, I used to watch Robert Schuller every Sunday. And it takes guts to leave the ruts. It really does. And so we have the freedom to choose to leave the ruts, and we have the freedom to stay in the ruts. So when it comes to the freedom to, how are you experiencing that? How do you want to experience that? How do you want to experience the freedom to do whatever you want? How do you want to experience the freedom to live your best life? How do you want to experience the freedom to have the things that you want in life, to make the decisions for yourself, to make the decisions for how your life is going to go, to walk through this life the way that you want to walk through it? Now, keep in mind that freedom carries with it responsibility. We don't have freedom without responsibility. Freedom carries with it responsibility. We have the responsibility to be accountable for our own actions, to be accountable for our thoughts, to be accountable for our words, to be accountable for our for all the things that we do. We have freedom and we have responsibility. They go hand in hand. Yes, we have freedom of speech, and we have a responsibility not to yell fire in a crowded theater. We have freedom. We have freedom to watch the sunrise. We have freedom to watch the sunrise, and we have the responsibility, if you want to see the sunrise, to get up early enough to see it and to turn to the east where we can see the sun rising. So just because we have the freedom to do something doesn't mean that we are just scot-free. We have the responsibility that goes along with it. There's something that we have to do to be responsible, to be accountable. And that's what we have to keep in mind, that freedom and responsibility go hand in hand. Contained within freedom is the responsibility. And so how much responsibility are you willing to take? How much responsibility are you willing to take for where your life is now? How much responsibility are you willing to take for how your life moves forward? How much responsibility are you willing to take for how your relationships are going now? How your experience of your job, or how your experience of your interactions with other people, or how your experience of yourself, your health, all these things. How much responsibility are you willing to take? How accountable are you willing to hold yourself? Freedom has all of this contained within it. There's freedom and there's responsibility and there's accountability. And so how are you going to experience it? How are you going to move through this life? How are you going to move into this new day dawning with freedom? With the freedom that is inherent within each one of us. And that's what's so exciting, is that freedom is not something that somebody's going to confer on us. Because even if we were locked up in a cage, there's that freedom that is still within us. There's that freedom that is still within us, and we can still experience freedom. Not the freedom of movement, maybe, or not the kind of freedom that we think of sometimes when we think of freedom of just being all encompassing. But there's a freedom that quality of freedom that can make the quality of our lives such that nothing can keep us bound. Nothing can keep us in bondage when we are tapped into that quality that is the freedom of God that is within each one of us. And so that's what we have to keep tapping into and keep tapping into and keep tapping into, to remind ourselves that quality of freedom can never be taken from us. It can never be stripped away. It can never be encumbered in any way. It can never be hindered in any way. And so just keeping that in mind, then we can just move forward, putting one foot in front of the other in this new day dawning with excitement, with enthusiasm, with expectancy of the good that is available to us all around, everywhere we go. It's available to us. And so I'm inviting you to really start to look at, how am I experiencing freedom in my life? How do I want to experience freedom in my life? As I said, how do I want to be free? How do I want to experience freedom from whatever it is I don't want? And how do I want to experience freedom to whatever it is I want, whatever it is I want to do? How will I experience these things? It's up to me. I can make choices. I can make choices. I have that freedom to choose. Oh, let's take a breath for a moment. You know, the other freedom, the third one that I was thinking of, is the freedom to be. The freedom to be. The freedom to be. The freedom to be all that you were created to be. The freedom to be all you were created to be. How will I exercise the freedom to be all that I was created to be? And you know, when we're looking at freedom, we are dealing with possibilities without concern for conditions or situations or circumstances or external factors. And I was thinking about the freedom to be as I was listening to Charity Lockhart this morning, and I was thinking that Charity has told me that she is living her best life. She is living the life of her dreams right now. She's always wanted to be an entertainer on a cruise ship. And that's where she is now. She thought it would have happened years ago. It didn't happen years ago. It happened when it was supposed to happen. You know, when we can trust divine timing, when I can remember my grandmother saying that God is never late. It may not happen when you want it to happen, but God is always right on time. Well, this happened right on time for Charity. She's on a cruise ship. She's been traveling the world. I think she's in Europe now. I think she was in Italy the last time I talked with her. And she is traveling, she is singing, she is entertaining on this cruise ship. She's living her best life. She's living the life of her dreams right now. And the thing that is a bonus for her is she thought she would do this before she had children, many years ago. But now her daughter's traveling with her. And so she's been on a cruise ship off and on now for the past almost 2 years. And she is living the life of her dreams. She is in that place of experiencing freedom to be what she was created to be. Freedom to live the life of her dreams, freedom to live the life that she was created to live, the life that she was created to have. And she's been willing to change to do that. She's been willing to change to do that. She had to make changes to do that. There were some things she had to leave behind, she had to get free from, to get to where she is. And there were some things that she had to be free to, she had to be open to. She had to be open to some things in order to be where she is now. And now she's in that place of being free to be all that she was created to be, to live her dream life. What a wonderful example that is for all of us. For all of us. It's never too late. It's never too late to be all that you were created to be. It's never too late to live the life of your dreams. It's never too late for the freedom to start to show up in your life. It's never too late. So long as there's breath in our bodies, we can still experience freedom. We can still exercise the freedom of choice. And that's what I'm inviting you today to do today, is to recognize that there's that power and that presence that within each one of us, and whose image and likeness we are made, that is always, always, always available to us. That is always available to us. It may not have happened the way we wanted it to. It may not show up the way we think it should have. It may not be anything that we could have imagined. But you know what? It is perfect, just as it is. If we will give up our attachment to any preconceived idea we had about what our lives should look like, what our lives could look like, how we wanted our lives to be, give up attachment to any of that, our own ideas. When we can give up attachment to our own ideas, then God's ideas can come through. Then God's vision for our lives can come through. Because once we give up attachment to the way we want it to be, we create a space. We create a space for the all that is, to be all that it can be in and through and as our lives. And I think this is what is so important for us to recognize. So we have the freedom to be. And so I'm encouraging you today to really look at, what does that look like for you? What does freedom look like for you in your life? Just really think about it. What does freedom look like for you right now? How does freedom feel to you right now? Take a breath and think about that. How does freedom feel to you right now? How does freedom sound? How does freedom sound? How does freedom sound to you? How would you feel if you were free from something that you've been wanting to be free from for a long time? How would that feel to you? How would it feel to you if you were free to do something you thought you wanted to do for a long time? Like being on a cruise ship. How would that feel to you? Whatever, being on a bike, or whatever it is, whatever the case may be, mountain climbing, or just resting and relaxing and practicing good self-care. How would that feel to you? You have the freedom to do that. We have the freedom to take a vacation. Yes, we have a freedom to take a vacation, something that we're going to be doing. We have a freedom to take a break, or we have a freedom not to. It's up to each one of us. That's what I'm saying to you. It's up to each one of us. And I think what we have to do is to tap into the awareness that it's really up to each one of us, that we have the freedom of choice. And the freedom of choice gives us the freedom to be. It gives us the freedom to be all that we were created to be. It gives us the freedom to live the life of our dreams. It gives us the freedom to do whatever it is that we want to do. It gives us the freedom to be all that God created us to be. It gives us the freedom to be at one with the all that is. And you know what? It also gives us the freedom not to be at one. It also gives us the freedom, we have the freedom to accept God in our lives consciously, and we have the freedom to reject God in our lives. We have that freedom also. It's up to each one of us. It's up to each one of us. One thing I know for sure, whether you accept or reject, one thing I know for sure is that we can never be separate from God. We can be separate in our own minds. We can feel that we are separate. We can think that we are separate, but being separate in reality is not possible, because we are at one. We are one with God. And so just when we exercise the freedom and make the choice to consciously be at one, then that's when our lives really take off. That's when our lives really take off. When we exercise the freedom and exercise the choice to really be at one, to really live a life of oneness, to really live in the presence, to really practice the presence of God, to really be in that place of knowing who we are and operating from that place. When we are living and experiencing freedom in that way, then our lives are unrecognizable for the life that we're living today. And so I'm inviting you to make some choices. Choose what you want. Choose whether you want to live your best life, whether you want to live an incredible life, whether you want to live a mundane life, whether you just want things to stay the way they are. And that's not a criticism. It's freedom. It's your freedom to choose that. And so I just invite you to choose high, choose the best, choose openness and possibilities. Choose possibilities. There's so much good available to us. There's so much good available to us. And don't forget the affirmation, there's a power for good in the universe, and I can use it. There's a power for good in the universe, and I can use it. There's a power for good in the universe, and we all can use it. Choose to use it. Choose to use that power for good and see what happens. This is what I invite you to do. So let's just turn within in this moment. Let's just take a breath together as we just turn within in this moment and choose to move into prayer. Just choosing to recognize that power and that presence and that life, that being, that essence that I know is the only power, the only presence, the only essence, the only life, the only breath that I choose to call God. And this one is my very life. This one is my very life. This one is that from which I can never be separate. This one is the life of each of us here this day. This one is the source of all of us. It is the source of all of us. I choose to call this one God. We can call it whatever we want, or we don't have to call it anything at all. Doesn't change this power. Doesn't change our relationship to it. Doesn't change the fact that it is always right where we are, guiding us, directing us, keeping us safe, protecting us. It is everywhere present. There's not a spot where it is not. It's everywhere present. And so just knowing this truth, I speak this word for each of us this day as we move forward into this day, knowing that this power and presence goes forward before us, making straight our way in all ways and all things, always right where we are, always guiding us, always directing us, always comforting us, always healing our body temples, always healing in our bodies of affairs, always, 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 always available to us. And so just knowing this truth, I know that as we move into alignment with it, as we stay in alignment with it, that everything is made new in our lives. Everything is made new in our experience. Everything is made new in our world. Everything is made new. And so we can release and let go of fear and doubt and anxiety and anything that may be hindering, anything that may be blocking. We just release and let that go and just allow this power and this presence to have full sway in our lives, to have full sway in our bodies of affairs and our body temples, and have full sway in every aspect of our lives. And so I know that this prayer goes out to everyone needing a prayer this day. And as I open the circle of prayer, you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You can speak their names silently or loud, but you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is right where each one is, blessing and keeping them. I know that God is in the midst of every circumstance, every situation, every event, no matter what we may call it. God is in the midst of it all. This word goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, knowing that God is, God is, God is. That's all we ever need to know. God is. That's all that's all we ever need to affirm. God is. And know this truth. And so for the word spoken here this day, I say thank you, Father, Mother God. Thank you for healing that's happening everywhere. Thank you for healing that's happening on this planet. Thank you for love and for peace and for harmony and for balance and for joy and for all the experiences that we get to have. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know indeed that all is well, for I know indeed that all is God, and I simply allow it to be. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Sherry, for that deeply inspired talk today. Yes. And now is the time to participate in the divine law of giving and receiving by giving of our tithes and offerings. CLF is a tithing church, and we invite you to join us in this sacred practice by tithing here at CLF. You can click on the donate link in our website or in the comments on Zoom and Facebook and also YouTube. Important announcement is to remind you that CLF has changed our donation software from Breeze to Aplos. If you're currently auto tithing to CLF, we need you to do two of the following things as soon as possible, and definitely no later than July 31st. First, you need to cancel your auto tithe account in Breeze. And second, you need to create your new auto tithe in Aplos. The new CLF text to give phone number is 844-941-4360. If you have any questions or need assistance, don't worry. Just give me a call at the church office or send me an email at my email address of deb@creativelivingfellowship.com. Whichever method you choose to use to give, we truly appreciate your continued financial support of CLF. And now let's repeat our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God, and so it is. And now it's my extreme pleasure to welcome back Charity Lockhart with our offering song.
Hey CLF, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to bring these tunes to you. Come on!
You better think. You think about it. Think. You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Yeah, think. Let your mind go, let yourself be free. Let's go back, let's go way back when I didn't even know you. You could have been too much more than 10. Just a child. I know psychiatrist, I ain't no doctor with the degree, but it don't take too much. I can't stand what you're doing to me. You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Oh, think. Let your mind go, let yourself be free. Yeah, freedom. But I'm not if I keep doing things I don't. Hey, think about what you're trying to do to me. Hey, let your mind go, let yourself be free. People walking around every day playing games and taking score, trying to make other people lose your mind. Now we can't forget that. You better think about what you're trying to do to me. Hey, let your mind go, let yourself be free. 'Cause you need me, and I need you. Without each other, there ain't nothing you can do. Oh, yeah. Think about it, baby.
right there. That's what freedom sounds like to me. Oh, Charity, you're amazing. That was awesome. Thank you so much for your amazing music today. It's kind of hard to follow that up, but I'll try with announcements. I know, super exciting. Well, I am super excited about this first announcement because that's right. We have the freedom to take vacation and we're going to take it. Our office is closed from Monday, July 18th through Monday, July 25th, as our staff takes a much needed vacation. There will be no Monday practice with Reverend Jorge or Tuesday night community care connection meeting with Reverend Sherry this week. But there will be midday meditation. Do you experience anxiety, depression, or have trouble focusing? Meditation is a great practice that benefits not only your emotional and physical well-being, it also can deepen your connection to the divine. Join us for midday meditation to start or support your existing meditation practice. Midday meditation is at noon, Monday through Friday. We also hold a 20-minute pre-service meditation on Sundays at 9:35 a.m. Thank you, Reverend Jeannie, for today's meditation. The Ernest Holmes book study is underway. They are reading The Hidden Power of the Bible, what Science of Mind reveals about the Bible and you, and meeting weekly on Saturdays to discuss, grow, and connect. The Ernest Holmes book study is a drop-in group and a great spiritual practice. So get your copy of The Hidden Power of the Bible and read through page 98, and then join us on Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. Karen Drucker is super excited for her upcoming online play shop, Fearless Fun and Freedom, on Sunday, July 31st. In this play shop, she will, as she prefers to call it, you will look at freedom as it relates to your daily lives, your relationships, and your dreams. With songs and stories and some laughter, learn how to give yourself permission to be, do, and have all that you desire, and to rejuvenate your body, mind, and spirit. Check out our website to find out more and register today. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. Our practitioners are available for one-on-one prayer with you in private breakout rooms. Or you can reach out to one of our on-call practitioners. The list can be found in the comments or on our website under prayer. And you can also email a prayer request to prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Upon receipt, our practitioners will pray over your request for 30 days. Remember, you don't need to walk around with a heavy heart. Your practitioners are waiting for the opportunity to serve you in prayer. There is no fellowship today as we are having our community visioning at 11:30 a.m. You are invited and encouraged to be a part of this sacred practice of opening up and making ourselves available to catch God's vision for Creative Living Fellowship. Remember that God's vision for CLF can only be expressed through us. So join us for this very special community event. You can find the link for our visioning and other activities on our website under events, under our Facebook events, or in your weekly newsletter. Well, that's it for my announcements. It is now back to Reverend Sherry.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And I just would like to remind you that, let me just say something about the visioning. One of the things we're going to do today in the community visioning is to discuss some of the responses that we've gotten as a result of the visioning. So I invite you, encourage you all to attend so that we can see what's been coming up for us as God's vision for Creative Living Fellowship. In addition to that, I want to remind you, as always, to use the treatment for supply. It works, and it will set you free. So make sure that you continue to use the treatment for supply twice a day. Why not? Choose twice a day. And of course, connecting with each other is very, very important. So just continue to connect, calls, text messages, seeing each other if that's what you're doing now in person, and just knowing that we are a community, and connection is very, very important to each one of us. And that's a big thing that came up in the visioning also, community and connection. So I encourage you to do that. I love connecting with you on Sundays and during the week, whenever I see you, when you can drop into our some of our activities. And I look forward to seeing you again really, really, really soon. Take good care of yourselves. I love you all. I miss you. And I can't wait to see you again soon. Now, here's our closing song. I release and let go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm all